replace your income by becoming a coach. And I mean, the why to me is pretty obvious, but we're going to talk about it anyway. And if you haven't already applied for one of the coaching subsidies that we have on our site, make sure you go to www.blackwomenequalpay.com. And, I have to start by telling you that 9 years ago and beyond, when I first started this, there weren't near as many coaches as there are now. But fortunately, I don't think there's a limit because there's so many people in the world that need help. And there's so many people in the world that need to be free. And so if you couple the people that need help along with people like yourself who need to be free from a job, then it becomes easy to see that coaching is a viable way for you to make that happen. So if you haven't already, make sure you share the broadcast, invite others, start a watch party, because I think this information is critical for people to know. Thanks for tuning in, Marnie. So first and foremost, a long time ago, not too long ago, in order for you to be able to build a reputable business, you had to go get a small business loan, which means you had to have pretty good credit, which left a lot of us out. You had to have relationships with the bank because they really didn't like loaning to minorities and really didn't like loaning to women. Now, with the internet, if you're not taking advantage of not only the low barrier to entry, but just how big the internet is, then you need to really think deeply about what's important to you. Because with a website, literally you can get started selling internationally. And one of the things that I love about coaching is that you don't have to go to school for a million years to become a coach. And as a matter of fact, what you're probably going to end up coaching is something that you already know like the back of your hand. Thank you, Aaliyah, for sharing. Thank you, Marnie and Dee, for starting a watch party. So it's almost to me the perfect escape vehicle if you're trying to leave your job for you to say, let me go get a coaching certificate so I can speed up my transition. So the barrier to entry, you don't have to have these yellow page ads like you used to. You don't have to have this big building, a ton of workers, all of this insurance. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? Uh, all you have to do is get something that makes you credible and a laptop. And most of you can run your business out of a phone. And I think that that's just amazing. Thank you, Tisha, for sharing. I appreciate you. And if you're not taking advantage of it, you got to ask yourself why not? Because there are businesses being born every single day. People are using the internet to free themselves. And why? Because it's a huge return on your investment, right? So, say you build a website. I want you to think about it. If you build that website correctly, you don't have to build another website for years. Unlike if you get a brick and mortar, and I had somebody talking to me about renting space. And I begged them, I literally begged them. I said, please don't do it. They said, well, the space is cheap right now. I said, it's cheap right now because everybody is figuring out what? You don't need a business building to run a business. The return on your investment for becoming a coach or running an internet business is huge. Let's just say you buy the top of the line website, all the bells, all the whistles for $5,000, and you don't have to replace it for, let's just say, 5 years. Do you know how much money? Do you know how much money you would have spent in leasing, in lights, in water, in employees, in gas over 5 years? And you're taking knowledge that you already know. So the return on your investment is massive. And there's not too many careers that are going to get you that ready to go faster than college. I often meet women that say, you know, I'm stuck in my job. I don't really like what I'm doing. I really want to go back to school, and I really want to ask them why. And again, if you haven't shared the broadcast, make sure you share the broadcast. I want to ask them, why would you add another 100,000 to your student loan debt? Why would you enlist in 4 more years? Why would you go back to school on that campus with them teeny boppers? Why would you do that when you can simply get a coaching certification much faster than you could ever go to a college and much more inexpensive? I think the problem people have is they don't look at certifications the same way they look at a college degree. But nowadays, for all intents and purposes, they are the same. With the fact that you probably paid 100,000 more for your college degree than I paid for my coaching certification. At the end of the day, people don't care. You're not a doctor, so you don't have to have an MD. You're not a therapist, so you don't have to have a PhD. At the end of the day, people don't really care as long as you are credible. So they're not going to be asking you what school you went to. When I tell women that, some women get mad because they don't realize that, yes, we were taught to get a good job. Yes, we were taught to go to college, but that was because those were the only options available. And if you're living in the internet age right now and you're not taking the time to build you an online business, go to www.blackwomenequalpay.com and let us help you. You got the power of a supercomputer 12, 15 years ago in the palm of your hand. Use it for more than calling your man and calling to check on your kids. I'm serious. I'm serious. Before you think about at 30, spending 4 more years in school, at 40, now, if this is a life goal of yours to graduate from a college, then go ahead and do it. But if you're doing it trying to increase your revenue, trying to increase your income, trying to start you a business, trying to stop living from paycheck to paycheck, that's not going to do it. You're going to get a higher job, more responsibilities, and very little revenue. And one thing I learned when we were on a trip to California recently is that coaching is more profitable than therapy. See, with coaching, you set your own prices. I don't care if it's $20. I don't care if it's 2,000. You set your own prices, and there's no national governing body that can stop you from setting your own prices in coaching. But the insurance agencies have gotten so that they limit the amount that a therapeutic practitioner can charge their people. And to me, that's just horrible. To me, you might as well be working a job, because how dare you come tell me what I can and can't charge for my time? You can't tell me what I can and can't do with my time. And that's the biggest difference between coaching and therapy, is that there's no national governing body for coaching that can say, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. And it adds a ton to your credibility. If you haven't already gone out there and looked at the list of 12 different certifications we're offering right now, make sure you go to www.blackwomenequalpay.com, because you have a world of people that may have your problem. Now, you may be jaded. You may be jaded because you tried to launch something locally and it didn't necessarily work out. You may be a little bit skittish because you tried other programs before, but they didn't really help. But let me tell you something. There is a huge difference between coaching in your community and coaching in the world. And even if nobody in your community Hey, Gina Lee. Hey, Denise. Even if nobody in your community wants what you have, when you have an international platform like a website, nobody can stop you. There's always somebody. Somebody put it in the chat. Just type in somebody. I want you to understand this. If you don't understand any of my rigmarole tonight, I want you to understand that when you're properly positioned on the internet, somebody somewhere needs what you have. I'm going to repeat that. When you are properly positioned on the internet, somebody type in somebody. Somebody somewhere not only needs what you have, but has the money to pay you right now. Do you guys believe that? Go ahead and type in me if you believe that. Not only does somebody somewhere not only needs you, but will pay you whatever you want. Part of your problem in living paycheck to paycheck is because when you refuse to put a price on your services, when you refuse to put a value on your time until you put your foot down and come up with a determination. If it's wrong at first, it's going to self correct. Let me give you an example. So, say I open a jewelry store and all the jewelry is worth, let's just say $100. And somebody comes into the store one day and says, "Oh, this old jewelry, it ain't worth no $100. I wouldn't buy this, dot, 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 dot." So when they leave, you feel some kind of way. And so you go about your store starting to mark down everything you had in the store. Is this making sense what I'm saying? And so now, because you've listened to somebody that wasn't going to never buy nothing from you anyway, you have cut your own throat. You have messed up your own money. You have double guessed yourself, all because of a person who was never going to buy anything from you to begin with. So, what you've got to realize is that your hands and your intellect have the capacity to help you generate revenue. But the first lesson you've got to learn is how, and that's one of the things we teach you. Go to www.blackwomenequalpay.com. When it comes down to pointing a finger, yes, I do think men are partially at fault. But if you look at other races, you see them standing in the gap where we don't stand in the gap anymore. So we're not even making the gap money. So with that being said, don't allow anybody to call your prices because somebody somewhere internationally is having the problem that you're trying to solve and they're tired of it. How many of you are tired of, going back and forth to your job? And if you have a choice to do something different, you would do something different. How many of you, go ahead and say me in the chat. And my answer to that is that you have a choice. And a lot of times we ignore the choices that we're given. Poor means passing over opportunities repeatedly. So we're so busy thinking somebody's trying to trick us or thinking somebody's trying to do something to us. We miss out on those seasons where you're supposed to be listening to a particular person in order to change your trajectory. It's not about where you are now. It's not about where you used to be. It is 100% about where you have the capacity to grow yourself. Let me tell you something. There's no time like now. Somebody type now in the chat. There's no time like now. There's no better time that the universe is going to give you access to more money. There's no better time than you're going to be sitting at home with not much to do. There's no better time where the world itself is sitting still. And so you can't afford to keep missing opportunities, waiting on a confirmation. You said, Lord, give me a sign. Lightning struck. You said, Lord, give me a sign. You heard thunder. You said, Lord, give me a sign. And before you know it, the thunder and lightning is on top of you, because the Lord is like, how many times you going to ask me to show you a sign and you not take advantage of it? And I know you can put your mask on and still go to work. But why? When you have the option to work from anywhere in the world, why? When you have the option to go to bed in your own bed, wake up the next day, have you a 5-minute commute to work, and turn your computer on. And you can do that from anywhere in the world. You don't have to wait on a week of vacation to go see your kids or your grandkids. You don't have to wait on a week of vacation to go have a party with your friends. When you're really ready to do something in your life, you're going to move at such lightning speed that it's going to scare you. When you're really ready to stop allowing other people to take advantage of your gifts and talents, you're going to go to www.blackwomenequalpay.com, put in an application, look at the different certifications we have available. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself to some personal and professional development, because there's so many things that you don't know that you don't know. Time management things, execution things, speaking in public, writing in books. There's so many things that you are sitting out there saying, I wish I could do, I wish I could do, I wish I could do. And when the opportunity comes for you to do it, you don't do it. You don't do it. So if you're somebody that's currently tired of your current situation, you want the opportunity to have a low barrier to entry, start your business relatively inexpensively, getting a huge return on your investment, much faster than tuning 4 more years of college and leaving with that horrible student loan debt. And then you don't have to worry about anybody trying to command your prices or demand you give people access to you at a certain price. And knowing that this opens you up to international opportunities. But you got to be there to contribute. www.blackwomenequalpay.com. It makes me sick when I think about the amount of money we lose every year in the workforce, not just because we're underpaid, but because they pay our counterpart much, much more. And until we start making them face the fact that you can't make it without us, we need an increase. You can't make it without us. We need an increase. Until you start working in that model, everything is going to be leftovers. And I don't know about you, but I don't want leftovers for my kids. I don't know about you, but I don't want to get full off leftovers. I don't. Give me what God meant for me. And that means you got to stop giving it away. You do. So, guys, I hope that helped you make sense. These are all the things that allow you the opportunity to leave your job and transitioning and doing something else. And again, don't keep missing opportunities. Don't wait on the next pandemic. Don't wait on the next government layoff. Don't wait on the next store closing. These jobs are getting harder and harder to find every single day. And you know what happens when you go into a new job? You don't have any grace, so you better be on time every day for that first 90 days. Versus you work when you want to work. And yes, it's absolutely hard work, but it's no harder than what you're doing already. It's not. So again, if you haven't shared this broadcast so somebody else can get this great information, make sure you do. Go to www.blackwomenequalpay.com and check out everything we have going over there and let us know how you want to get involved. You don't have to sit on the sidelines and watch. You don't have to sit on the sidelines and wish. You can truly get involved and take your life to the next level. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate you.